Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 59. I'm your host, groggy and sick of doing online learning already, Tom Rouse, and I'm joined by 560 advocate, Billy Roach. How you doing?
Hello, Tom. I love how you've already got that in already. You've already been complaining. No, I'm good. I think I'm coping much better at this than you are with this online learning. I think it's because I only have another week after tomorrow to go, as things
Well,
stand.
yeah.
Whereas you've obviously got it. But at the same time, I obviously did 2 other extra weeks, or maybe even 3 extra weeks last
Oh,
year.
in November,
Because I
December.
did 2 in November and then I did 1 in November. But I think you were off in November.
I've never taught at home through any of this until just now, this week.
Yeah.
I've done 3 days of it, and I mean, today has been my own mistake because
Yeah.
I didn't have to start teaching until 11:30, but I decided
you-
that I'd use my free
do your
couple of hours
second
this
job.
morning to do my second
did-
job as a football manager, and I'm doing really well. I managed to get Wolves are second in the league, a point behind Liverpool. This is next season. We finished fourth this season, but we're doing okay. We're on track to get qualification for Europe again, the Champions League. That's all we need to succeed. But there's no better place to start, Billy, than Trumplingtons. Donald Trumplington. I was amazed last night, and a lot of the blame, and it is to be placed at his door, isn't it? I mean, he didn't directly say go and break into the Capitol building, but all the rhetoric, all the talk since the election, and even before that, just caused this monstrous scene yesterday at the Capitol building, and. We're used to seeing these kind of scenes after elections in places like Belarus and Hungary and those kind of places. But in America, it's shocking, isn't it? Have you spoken to any of your friends in the US of States?
No, I haven't spoken because of the time difference and everything. Because it broke obviously yesterday afternoon, last night sort of thing. I haven't spoken to anyone recently, but I know I saw a couple of people had like tweeted and etc. on social media about what they think. The majority of my friends who I speak to are Democrats. Yes, that's correct. Are Democrats. Yes. So aren't protesting and stuff. But I've got a couple of friends in Washington, so I may message them to check if they're okay, mainly. But yeah, no, it's really unusual. I was watching a video just before we came on, and it was the ITV were covering the story, and as they were like live on the scene, as they were breaking through there and stuff like that. And obviously being impartial, because obviously the news outlets out there are one side or the other, and they were obviously asking the people who were protesting what they were doing, and they were saying they were saying that they feel that their freedom has been in jeopardy. They're taking the country from them, and they're forcing something, and they're stealing the election and things like that, which is obviously just reiterating what Trump has said. But it's trying to be impartial as we are, because it obviously isn't our country. It is quite strange to see that, and obviously then the officials in the Capitol were saying if we overturn the election based on what the allegations from the losing side have said, then all democracy goes out the window. There's obviously talking about I don't even know if they could completely redo the election or what because I do think if they redid the election, it'd still come out the same result.
I think it would. I think it would come even more in favour of Joe Biden. Surely, after all
this. You'd think as well, but it's just a case of it's just surreal. Like you say, we were joking a couple of weeks ago about having a new podcast, a spin-off Dictator, and and it's getting to that point now where you're like, because that was what I think echoed home with a lot of people. I know it did with me. Was they didn't hang an American flag up when they stormed.
Confederate flag, wasn't it?
It was a Trump flag as well.
Oh,
so it's not even though it's a Trump. They're going. It's more all the Trump supporters rather than the Republicans. But all our listeners, let us know what you think, because we've got a massive following in America. we could be way off the mark, Tom. That's the thing is we're obviously not living in it and stuff. And it's the same with it's probably the same when Brexit happened. You know, it was such a close call. You know, it is slightly different, but it was such a close call, and it still polarizes people today. But yeah, it's just mad. But yeah, I don't know what you think, Tom. I know you're a massive Trump fan, so
well, don't say that, Billy. I'm not a big Trump fan. Although I'll just show everybody because it's January, of course, and my Trump calendar, Kid Trump. I think that's a very apt photo for today because he hasn't conceded, but he's said that he will ensure that there will be a peaceful transition to Joe Biden, but he doesn't agree with the result. So make of that what you will. But no, I mean, I've been inside that building where everything took place yesterday, inside the Capitol.
I mean, everyone
building.
has now.
Well, yeah, I used to brag about it being quite a special thing, but actually now, who hasn't been in there? But on that point, just the level of security when we went, obviously, I mean, it was not comparable to yesterday anyway. You would hope that it would be even more secure yesterday because of what was going on with the Senate ratifying the results or whatever it was that they were doing. But with us, we were passports were out. We weren't allowed to take cameras in or anything like that. And I know that they broke down the barricades to get in. Yeah. But I mean, where was any security at all? But what was really funny?
Well. Go on.
What was really funny is once they stormed in to the Capitol building, they still walked very politely through that little chamber where there was those velvet ropes. They didn't go like smashing them up. They walked very calmly through through respective the velvet rope. So
that's the thing. That's what just makes it so baffling is because obviously one side of the US media is painting picture A, and then the other side is painting picture B of everything, the election, the rights, and things like that. They're currently saying, I think it was the Black Lives Matters protest last year, and there's pictures of that circulating of how all the military there and stuff. The National Guard was refused to be deployed and all this sort of stuff as with yesterday as well. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, I think 4 people have died, which is terrible. But it's just you just don't understand the decisions of the police. Not even the police, but the people who to protect and things like that. Why they didn't think, this might happen, going off what has been building up to for the past 4 years. Why they didn't think, we better lock this place down, sort of thing. But yeah, it must have been terrifying because obviously there were still people inside. That must have been terrifying for them because obviously they didn't know that the people were walking in pretty, peacefully, calmly is the better word probably, and things like that. But it's one of those things that, again, when we were talking about the election a couple of months ago and how we were talking about how that would go down, it's going to be interesting now to see what happens. I would just like to point out that my prediction for 2021 is currently coming true because obviously I predicted that it wouldn't go very smoothly, but it was that he wouldn't go peacefully. But at the minute, going off what you've said, if he sticks to his word, he is going to have a smooth transition. However, that might change now because he's been blocked on Twitter, hasn't he? Twitter have removed him from. They've blocked his account temporarily.
I was going to say I knew he'd been suspended for 12 hours.
Yeah, so he'd been suspended temporarily. I don't know whether that's been increased now, but they don't know whether it's going to be a permanent ban. But that's what's being rumored at the minute.
I mean, considering that I didn't know that there were so many amendments, but I've learned about the 25th amendment today. Considering that's been put in place, I think Twitter should probably block him if they're saying he's incompetent, he's not capable of carrying out his duties as president. He should also not be allowed on Twitter.
But Tommy's got two. He obviously has the president's account and his own personal account, so he could be blocked on. I don't know if they've blocked him on one and not the other. He could just start Can you imagine he starts spouting this stuff out on the
troll?
I think on a troll, but he's done everything through his own account. It's not gone through like the US president
POTUS,
account. But if he starts going, well, I can't tweet through this, I might as well do that. But another, I just want to move slightly on, Tom. I don't know whether you've seen this rumor, but I've seen this rumor of a potential the next president, Kanye West, him and Kim apparently getting a divorce.
Oh no!
So you're in
Kim
there, Tom. Tell Alice, but it's because apparently Jeffree Star. He's apparently had an affair with this famous YouTuber. No idea, but this is what's all kicking off. So apparently we've got to find someone else now to run for presidency because it's gone from now Trump to Kanye. We now need someone else after Biden. So, Tom, I think we should start a protest to get you trending on Twitter to be the next president.
Get a green card.
Yeah, get your green card, and then we'll sort it out and stuff.
Well, hopefully everything calms down in the next. Well, I think what's the date today? So we've got still 2 weeks left until until Biden's inauguration, which I can't believe. I mean, they had all the seating and stuff all up there for it. I can't believe that it's going to be, an event like it usually is. Although that's the one positive thing to come out of yesterday is that hopefully all those idiots who were in that big crowd will all get coronavirus. Anyway, moving on. I've been my veganuary has been limited.
Successful?
Well, no, it's been a mixture of success and failure so far. So I've been trying a lot of different things. I've been baking in a vegan fashion twice. In fact, I can only show you on my phone the failure that I had the other day with the cake because. So it was aquafaba. So I was trying to tell you the last time what it was. And I baked a cake and it wasn't, it tasted very nice. It looks terrible, but the middle of the cake just totally collapsed. You can see on the screen there.
It looks like a Yorkshire pudding.
It tasted quite...
In terms of like shape.
Yeah, it tasted like a cake and it was fine. I've tried it again and there was a bit less of a dip in the middle this time. I just cooked it for a little bit longer. I've got to cook it for a little bit longer still, but it's getting better. But my one slip up came yesterday because I've been eating a vegan cheese sandwich each lunchtime, just trying to make sure it's vegan, but something that's familiar, something that I enjoy. But then yesterday I thought
butter or something.
No, well, no, because we've got vegan like margarine, so that's fine, plant-based margarine, so that's not a problem. But then I thought I'd mix it up. I thought I'd try and be healthier. And I had a tin of soup, opened it up, poured it into the thing, heated it up, tomato soup, looked at the tin, full of milk. So I haven't managed to do it this week. I mean, that's not the end of the world, is it?
That's through no fault of your own. That's through no fault of your own. Tom.
Yeah, but we have been.
As though you've gone.
Yeah, we've tried to be very careful. Like we're looking at the back of packets and stuff all the time. Like there's Ritz crackers that we've got in the cupboard that we can't have because they've got milk in them. And but I said at the beginning, so long as I can go the whole month without any chocolate or any cheese, then that's really what I'm aiming for. We don't drink cow's milk anyway, and we don't tend to have eggs in the house, so we should be okay. How's your New Year's resolution going then, Billy? You said you were going to run a little bit more. It's too cold for you, is it?
Too cold. Well, it's more as we were saying off air. We were both saying how cold it is at the minute, and because I live right by the river, and the run that I normally do is by the river, and every morning I've woke up, I've literally when I've gone to leave the caravan, I've nearly slipped and died because of the steps and stuff because it's that slippery. So I thought, knowing my luck, I'll go for a run and end up in the river, drifting out to sea over to Ireland. So I have been out, but not in the mornings like I was planning on doing. But I've still managed to get out. But hopefully now, even with the skins on, Tom, it's still a bit like, well, I couldn't feel my toes this afternoon, so it's not a good sign. But yeah, hopefully keep it going and stuff. But all good.
All right, then, time for our first feature of the day. We love our features here on Absolute Scenes, and it's time for the Ida Gudjohnsen game. And if you were watching our live stream the other day, you would have seen Billy reveal his father's Burnley Ida Gudjohnsen game. So we won't repeat that one. You'll have to go and find our live stream somewhere. We will also do some live streams again in the future. And you'll have to try and find us. It's on my YouTube channel, so Rouse every weekend, and then I did. It's all through my stuff as well. I did retweet it onto our Twitter as well. So just keep your eyes peeled if you do like us. We might promote it a little bit next time as well. Make sure people are aware that we're doing it. They can perhaps save some time. So I've got the Ida Johnson game for this week, and I've gone for the England cricket team, and I think I've completed the game. I can't see anybody getting further back than this because I've gone. So I'll talk you through. I started with Burnley's finest, James Anderson, who's the current player, and he's made his Test debut for England in 2003. In that same Test match, there was two players actually that I could have chosen, but I chose Alex Stewart. The other one was Nasser Hussain, who both made their Test debuts in the same game in 1990 against the West Indies. In that same game was Graham Gooch, who started playing for England in 1975. Then on his Test debut in 1975 was playing a chap called John Edrich. He started playing in 1963. On his Test debut, he played with somebody called Brian Close, who made his Test debut in 1949. And thanks to the Second World War, we can jump back quite a lot because people managed to. They played for a lot long. They played until they were like 45, 50 nearly cricketers at that point, just because they'd missed 5 years of their career. They thought, we're going to carry on playing. So Brian Close started playing in 1945. He played with Freddie Brown, who started playing. He made his Test debut in 1931. And then he played on his debut with somebody called Herbert Sutcliffe, who made his Test debut in 1924. And Herbert Sutcliffe was born on the 24th of November, 1894, wow. Billy.
Wow, so Tom.
Very fortunate with cricket as well is that the records are so well kept. Like Cricinfo online.
Yeah.
So every single Test match recorded. You can look at everybody's scores going back to the start of Test cricket, which is like 1880 something. Every scorecard has been kept and is... it's very, very easy to do. So if anybody can get back with any other sport further than 1894, I'll be very, very impressed. I think it's that's pretty good. Isn't it?
I have an idea. I've whilst you've been talking, I've just thought of potentially one that I could do. I'll have to have a look at it in more detail, but I think I might have one. But I had a feeling, Tom, that we when we spoke about when we were when I say we, the royal we, when you came up with a game, how we can make it more challenging and stuff. So as we said on Tuesday, I've added a stipulation to it now, and I'm starting with a pretty hard one. I'm not going to lie, it's not the easiest one, which I'm going to challenge people with, but it's still football, but I'm going to include that you have to include a certain player or certain players within your team. So we did mention it and stuff. So the one I'm going to start with is a fairly well-known family. It's the Maldinis at AC Milan, and you have to include all three of those.
So give us their names, please.
Maldini.
Lovely. So the middle one is Paolo.
Yeah. I'm just Googling it now whilst I do because I can't remember off the top of my head.
So there's a current player for AC Milan who's the son of Paolo Maldini, isn't it? And then I didn't know either, but Paolo Maldini's dad or grandfather?
Yes. His dad. So father.
Paolo Maldini's dad played for AC Milan.
I think it's Cesare is how you pronounce it. It's Maldini, and then Daniel Maldini is his son, I think, because there's two. He's got two sons. It's Daniel Maldini, and then there's another. Christian Maldini is his other son, who is currently in the youth setup.
Okay.
Well, he was at the youth setup. Sorry, he's now moved on to another club. So you need to start with the Maldinis. I'll give you a clue. You will end with a Maldini because you've got to do it within 7 plays or 6 moves. I think it is, wasn't it, Tom? What we said?
Yeah, 6 moves, 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, so that's the clue. But it is. I think there is only one possible solution. So enjoy, because it is quite of a head scratcher. That was the one that I mentioned on Tuesday. So that's the one. But yeah, as you said, or if you can beat Tom's, what was it, 18?
1894 he was born in, but 1924 was when he made his Test debut. We also want to hear people. I think I might look at like tennis next, so individual or boxing perhaps. I know that Harry Mansell would like that perhaps. So people who've fought against really young fighters fighting against really old fighters. How far back can we go with that? But yes, so that's go on.
Staying with football because it's January, Tom. Because I know you want to probably go on to another feature. It is probably one of the favourite times of the year for football fans because it's the January transfer window. It's all the rumours come into fruition. Have you got anything you hope for on the Wolverhampton shopping list?
Well,
I've heard that they have been linked with a former Chelsea player.
Yeah, that's not happening. So obviously we need a striker, but the problem is everybody knows we need a striker. It's not like Raul Jimenez has got a niggle. Everybody knows that he's broken his skull and he's going to be out for the rest of the season. We need somebody desperately. We haven't won. I think we've won one game, or two, which was against Chelsea since his injury.
Just get that stab in there again, Tom. That's fine. So we play you again soon, don't we?
Probably
pretty soon. Yeah. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Just
so you'll definitely win that game, don't worry.
I don't know. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so we need a striker. We do already have a striker who was on loan to Fiorentina, who's been recalled today and is going to be part of the squad for the rest of the season. That's Patrick Cutrone, who
is he?
He scored. He loved the pizza. He loved the pasta, and one of the only games he scored 2 Premier League goals for us last season, and one of them was against yours truly, Chelsea again. When we lost 5-2, but never mind. So he's come back. Gibbs White has come back from Swansea as well. And both of those two are going to be playing some part of the rest of the season. But our squad is so small that I think that they've just sort of done that to boost the squad up a little bit because...
Especially with
our
things
bench,
going on at the minute.
Yeah, and our bench the other day, I don't know if you saw it, but we had 2 goalkeepers on the bench. We had John Ruddy and Anders Sondergaard. And then we had... No other players were older than 20. I think Max Kilman was the oldest player that wasn't a goalkeeper. John Ruddy's obviously like 35 or something.
Yeah.
But then there's no other Premier League starts on the bench, so we needed some players. I expect Wolves to sign at least one player. I would hope that it's Divock Origi. He's been linked with us, and I think would be an excellent signing for not just the short term, but then to challenge Jimenez in the future. Because Jimenez, I'm not expecting to come back as the same kind of player. But yes, it's going to be interesting, and I don't think Wolves are going to do much business. But I hope that we at least sign Origi. What about Chelsea? Because you've obviously splashed a lot of cash in the summer. But
so they've splashed a lot of cash. Apparently, it's going to be more outs. I think for Chelsea. We've been rumoured with Declan Rice. As one of the players, which I don't know where, because Rice is similar to Eric Dyer, where he can play in midfield and play in the as a centre back as well. So I don't know whether they're signing him to play centre back or they're signing him to play as a replacement for Kante or alongside Kante or alongside. It depends on what the club's vision in regards to that is. But I think it's more getting a lot of dead wood, for lack of a better term, off the books. I think Piazon's one who's been there for yonks. Lucas Piazon. Drinkwater, another one. Lenny Pidgley will keep him. The legend that is Lenny Pidgley. But it's just, all those like I think Moses is still on the books, but he's out on loan. But I think he's one, not that the club will keep hold of him, but it's all those sort of players. Bakayoko, I think, may have moved on, but it's just players who are out on loan who are not exactly future prospects like Piazon was 10 years ago. He's now, I think he's made 3 appearances in 9 years for Chelsea. Similar sort of time to Bamford. But yeah, it's good. But there's one move that's gone through today, Tom, which I thought you might laugh at, which it has made me chuckle. And it was a striker. So potentially Wolves could have signed this, could have gone to Wolves. And he only moved to the club 2 years ago for a record fee. And I couldn't believe this, but he was the 5th. Let me just double. I think he's the 5th most expensive striker. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th most expensive striker in Premier League history, tied with Timo Werner. Can you think who this is?
Andy Carroll.
No, he would be below that. Is he
Haller
for
Sebastian Haller for West Ham. He's always good
Ham.
on Football Manager and FIFA. That's why I'm. But is he hopeless in real life? I don't even know who he is really.
He's not done well. I think is at West Ham. He's not managed to like hit the ground running. For lack of it. So he's moved to Ajax. So he signed for West Ham for 45 million. He's left relegation threatened. West Ham.
They're okay, aren't they?
They're all right, but in comparison to Ajax, so he moved from. So I think actually he moved from Frankfurt, who were in the Europa League at the time, to West Ham, who were in the relegation battle at the time when he moved.
Right.
And now he's moving from West Ham to Champions League Ajax. How much do you think Ajax have paid for him, Tom? 45 million now is how much West Ham have paid.
Not a lot.
Yeah. So this West Ham paid 36 million pounds up front. They've still got some of that obviously to pay off still. They've sold Haller for a total of 20 million pounds.
Wow. That's
so they've made a lot
by the Dildo brothers.
Yeah, so that's why I brought it up, Tom, because I know you love a good transfer. So basically they've sold Haller to pay off signing Haller.
Outstanding. Lovely stuff. Well, just to clear up my calling them the Dildo brothers. Do you know that story, Billy?
I have heard it, but you'll have to refresh my memory, Tom.
David Sullivan and David Gold, who are the two co-owners of West Ham, previously owners of Birmingham City as well, they have made their fortune through films of the flesh. And when they were trying to sign a player a couple of years ago, this was like 4 or 5 years ago now, it was quite a long time ago, and an email got leaked from the club that was trying to hold on to this player, and they referred to Gold and Sullivan as the Dildo brothers, which David and David Dildo.
That's almost you could almost put that in Believe It or Not, Tom.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna put that as the title for this episode, so people will definitely be interested in it. The Dildo Brothers.
There's another one, Tom. Just before we move on, I don't know if you've heard. Still in Belgium, it is about. I think it's in Belgium. A Royal Antwerp forwards.
Yeah.
Have you seen this on Twitter?
No.
So he's demanded. He's wanted to move to, I think it's Panathinaikos. Yeah, Greek club Panathinaikos. And it's a transfer window. So he turned up to training wearing an Anderlecht shirt to try and force move, which is the arch rivals.
Yeah.
And there's a picture. I'll have to show you after. It's on Twitter. But there's a picture of him trying to get into the training facilities, and the security guards are holding the door shut as he's trying to pull to get in. He's since come out and apologized on Twitter or on Instagram or something to say he was just had his head had been turned, and he's now committed with the club. So whether he's stopping or not, or I don't know. But I think that similar levels to Peter Oromwingi turning up to have a medical all those years ago. That's probably up there with as the ultimate like betrayal or whatever you want to say. But it's just one of those things. But yeah, moving on, Tom. What
moving on? Let's
two directions here now.
Let's go to my poll. It hasn't got a sting yet because I don't need it, Billy. I don't need the poll to. I don't need the sting to make people want to vote. I got as many as 6 votes on the poll. It really caught fire. People were talking about it on there. Unfortunately, because of the bloody protests yesterday at the Capitol building, people stopped talking about my poll. Unfortunately,
and you did have another. There was another poll, wasn't there, Tom? Up on the same day, which unfortunately might have hindered it. I did send you a picture on WhatsApp if you remember. Another famous interviewer, if you want to. I don't know how you describe them, but Ellen DeGeneres also had a poll up, didn't she?
Oh yeah,
she had a poll up asking when to take Christmas trees down, which is probably something we would have. But she had a measly 700 votes on her
within the first 3 minutes of her putting it out. So we've got 6, and it was very, very simple question. Are you left-handed, right-handed, or ambidextrous? Billy, what did you vote for?
Right, I'm right-handed, Tom. But the question was what is it if you write with your, because some players, like my brother, for example, he plays he's left-handed with darts, but he's
Mm.
right with his left hand, but plays right-handed with his darts. So it was a very grey area, Tom, I thought.
Yes.
But
Well, that's to me, that's ambidextrous. So we've already mentioned him today, James Anderson. He bowls right-handed but bats left-handed. There's a few cricketers that do that as well. I think Ben Stokes is one. Ben Stokes bats left-handed but bowls right-handed as well. So yeah, I would deem that to be ambidextrous because I don't think that just writing with both hands is ambidexterity. So only 17% of our listeners are left-handed, and 83% are right-handed. I thought that, and 0% are ambidextrous. Which so your brother obviously does not listen or identifies as a right-handed person.
Yeah, I don't think he has Twitter either, so that might be the main reason for that.
You've mentioned it there. I'd like to talk about it briefly. The darts.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. So I only managed to watch the last little bit of the semi-final and then most of the final between Gerwyn Price, who, when he was on the Oki, was a prat, couldn't stand him. But then when he was interviewed, he was a lovely boy. So all through the game, I was thinking, oh, God, I hope he loses. And Gary Anderson wins. But then, turns out he was all right, actually.
I know we did speak about this on Tuesday, for those of you who did watch the live stream, and we were talking about, obviously they have this persona on stage and they live up to the crowd. Obviously there isn't a crowd there at the minute, but they get booed and they live up to that. There's a couple of notable darts players who over the years have lived up to that. James Wade was one who's now decided, but I've had enough of this, I'm not being booed anymore, and turned it. It's as simple as just flicking a switch. They've over a period of time turned it around and stuff and stopped being this prat on stage. Peter Wright's one as well, I think, who toes the line and bounces back and forth depending on who he's playing. But I think a lot of it as well, in particular with darts, it's how they play as well. I think Subotic is how you say his name. He was a very slow darts player, and it's painful to watch. You're just like, go on, just let it go, and it's a case of it's just so slow. Whereas you look at someone like Anderson, I think even Gerwyn Price, they are fast players. Yeah. Chisnell and Anderson, the semi-final there, I think that's probably the one that you watched. You said about Chizzy, didn't you? They were very fast, and it's literally they're up, and it's got you blink and you've missed them throwing the darts.
I was trying to explain to Alice like the game, and before while it was going on, and like with cricket, you can just say, right, so you're going to run up now. Right, and he's gonna try and hit it. He's gonna try and stop it from hitting his stumps. And you can explain the game. And football, even like when the game's going on, when nothing's really happening, you can explain what's happening. But with darts, it was like, right, so now he needs 36. Oh no, he's just got an 18, so now he needs a double 9 to win. Yeah. And then he's missed it. So he actually needs double 2. Oh god, It was really, really difficult.
And it's obviously starting. It's not just obviously starting. For those of you who haven't watched darts, this is going to be very, very boring to you. But it's obviously they start on a certain number. It could be 501 or 301, and then they've obviously got to go down. There's some variations where you've got to just go all the way. Obviously, I think most variations you've got to just go all the way down and check out with a double. But some start on a double and finish on a double.
Oh, really?
Obviously, then there's I can't remember what the tournament is, but you have to start on a double and end on a double. There's also ones where you play doubles, which is I think it's the European Championships, where you play with a partner and you alternate who throws, or you alternate who you're against and things like this. So there's the Premier League, which we were talking about, which starts I think next month or at the end of this month, where it's the best players. I think it's 8 players over the past year playing. It's like a Champions League basically. That's what they've taken it from, and then they go and play and do that and sort of thing. But it'll be. We've always watched it at my house. My sister and her fiance, as I said to you on Tuesday, are very into it and go around. They've travelled to various places in Europe to go and watch it, and I recommend. That could be our recommendation: is people go and watch the darts.
It did make me laugh as well that they still played and they had you could hear the background noise that they had was just general drunk chatter. And but unfortunately there wasn't any chant. Oh, there were a few chants when but not really, not as many as there usually would be.
Well, that's what normally it is, isn't it? They just chant
stand up if you love the darts.
Yeah, they chant from start to finish, but it depends because there's that's the PDC, and I think it's I think it's BDO. I think it's the other one.
Yeah.
Where you're not allowed to chant. If you've got to be that it's not it's the amateur game, and you've got to be silent when they're on the oche. Not silent, but you can't be chanting and things like that. So it's the opposite and stuff. But yeah, it's if you want to get your maths good, play darts. Because
if you want to get your maths good, play darts. If you want to get your English good, don't listen to Billy. Right. There was something I was going to say then. It's what about the darts? Oh yeah. So I've been told already you can't have a dartboard in the house.
Oh right. Yeah.
Oh God. Because if we've got cats, you'll end up stabbing one. I was like, well.
Yeah. Never mind the walls with your aim.
Hey, listen. So my dad as well was watching the darts as well, and he said that he can assure me he scored lots of 180s alone in his room at university. It's like, well, so did I. Do you know what I mean?
I have. I think I've scored 140, but but that was it. But then I scored like 3 on the next one. But yeah, that's that. But I was very impressed when I hit the treble 20 and didn't know what to do, and I was panicking there. So yeah, but yeah, it's good. But moving on, Tom, do you want to do the meme from one sport to another?
So the meme of the week. This was something I saw last night, and it was very, very good. It was a tweet. I've taken a screenshot of it, so I'll share it to the people who are watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, then unfortunately you're gonna have to listen to me explaining it to you. But sadly, I can't share it at the minute. Hang on. But basically, it's a tweet that's a mockery of the Sky Sports program. Premier League years. So I don't think they do it like this anymore, but the ones from the 90s, they sort of come up with this sort of every month it would be like a picture that says January or February, and there'd be Georgie Thompson would read out like a major news story and then segue into a similar story within the Premier League. So this went up last night, and rightly so, got lots and lots of retweets and likes and stuff from somebody called Zacchiavelli. He tweeted, President Donald Trump tried to hold on to power as people stormed the Capitol, but it was Frank Lampard who lost his grip on power as Chelsea travelled to Craven Cottage. So I enjoyed that a lot. Billy, you didn't enjoy it. What's the story then? When are you playing?
I think that we're playing them. Well, we must be playing them this month. I'll quickly look on my calendar to see when I've been asked to go and manage Chelsea. It's the 15th, so we play Morecambe on Sunday, depending on what the time when you're listening to this, on the 10th, and then on the 15th we play Fulham.
Sunday, still Sunday, the 10th of January, whenever you listen to it, Billy.
But it's only because I'm looking, and we play you the day after my birthday, Tom.
Oh wow! What a treat for everybody.
The 27th. So
we'll all be totally insane by then.
Yeah. Well, probably, yeah. But yeah, all good. Good.
But I've just noticed that I haven't bothered to play any Stings today at all, so we'll keep on that trend and we'll play Believe It or Not for the first time in 2021.
2021. Well, you might have to update it soon anyway with Trump and stuff. So yeah, right. Let me just get them up here. So Nick, you ready, Tom? I'm waiting for the sting. That's what it is, and I'm shocked.
Oh, sorry.
But no, I'll go without it. Don't worry. So, naked fugitive rescued from tree by fisherman.
Sorry, I need to write them down.
I know you're writing them down. So that's why I'm giving you time.
Naked fugitive tree. Okay, cool.
Woman runs over husband after receiving strap-on dildo for Christmas. And Denmark launches children's TV show about man with giant penis.
I've seen.
You've seen that one, have you?
Yeah. Alice was sent it yesterday. So I know that's true. But it looks mental, doesn't it? I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it really. Can you describe the picture that you've got there in front of you? I know he's wearing like a red and white.
Yeah, so he's basically looking like Where's Wally? Is how I would describe him, with a moustache, handlebar. Well, not a handlebar moustache, but the typical porn star moustache, and a woolly hat on. And what I can only describe is if you could imagine him having a tail, which is red and white as well, but instead of going where a tail would normally go, it's where his genitals are. That is how I would describe it. And it's the animated world of children's television's newest member, John Dillermand. I don't know how
What does that translate as? Do you know? Johnny Long Todger.
Danish. No, actually, Tom, it's Danish for penis man.
Cool. Penis man.
So, short of a lead for his dog, he finds his unfeasible long phallus comes in handy. I'm so gutted that you've heard about this one, Tom, because it is. I was reading through it and I was like, there is no way that Tom is going to think this is true. Because it is so...
Yeah. I know, but now I'm starting to think that it's actually... Because I haven't actually read the article, I've just seen the picture. Oh, no, I wonder whether it is actually true or whether it is like a wind-up by the Denmark press.
Danish, yeah.
And
there's an author... There's an author and all this sort of stuff. Hang on, there's an advantage apparently here. I was reading. I scrolled down too quickly. I've lost it now. It's aimed at 4 to 8 year olds, Tom.
Cool.
In case you were wondering. Being hung like a horse has one huge advantage for children's programs, according to Education Sophie Munster. She told the news agency the debate is from an adult's perspective in which long penises are sexual. Children have a different perspective. The size of a penis is exaggerated too much. Children realize it's a joke.
Yeah.
So the age-old question finally answered, size does matter, but only for comic effect. See, this was perfect. I think this would have been the best story I'd have ever had on. But Alice, we are no longer friends. You have to have words with her. Yeah, we're down to a 50-50, as always.
So there's the naked fugitive in a tree. What have they done to lead them to hide up a tree?
Well, it was in Australia. So it was in a crocodile. I think it was a crocodile refuge. He's been out on bail change with armed robbery, multiple aggravated assaults, and stealing is another thing. And he'd removed his electronic device last week to try and evade police. But he's now been hospitalized. I really couldn't say that then. And he's had cuts and bruises, and he's just been found naked, stuck up a tree, hiding from crocodiles.
So he was on the run for about a week. He wasn't up the tree for a week.
No, he was on the run. He was on the run for quite a while, yeah. Not stuck up said tree for a week. He'd been living off snails for 4 days. So potentially, Tom, it could have been up there.
Well, have you given us a name yet?
This is why I nearly mispronounced hospital, because the name is Luke Voskreneski.
Okay. Have you told us where this happened?
Australia.
Nice and vague. A whole continent. Cool.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with.
That's as much as we can get. Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. And the final story then, the woman who ran over her husband because, let me get it right, he bought her a strap-on dildo.
For Christmas, yes.
For Christmas, okay. So, and why was that such a bad thing?
So I'll read you the quote as Gerald Hines has said. She was expecting a big gift to celebrate their 20th wedding anniversary, but he recently lost his job, so had to go for something less expensive. As I'm sure we've all been there, and when times are tough, you've got to make your own gift. Don't know whether this would have been the go-to gift for me, but she was hoping she'd be more open-minded and was attempting to spice up their sex life, because she was a big fan of 50 Shades of Grey. But unfortunately, she wasn't impressed and decided to run him over several times.
Several times.
And he is now... he's now in hospital as a result, as you'd expect after you've been run over several times. But he's decided not to press charges
because he feels sorry,
and has decided that he's taking the blame and he realizes he should have bought a new vacuum cleaner instead.
Okay. Well, it makes me relieved that I did actually buy Alice a vacuum cleaner for Christmas.
There you are, Tom. There you are. You should. You know now what what you should have bought or shouldn't have.
All right. What are their names, please?
Well, Gerald Hines was the name of.
Yeah, you did say that. What was her name?
Annabella Stockton.
You said they were married.
Yes. She doesn't have to take his name, Tom.
Sorry, of course. How assumptive of me. Dear me. All right then. So, what else could I ask her about that? What brand of Hoover do they say?
It doesn't say. I don't think he has decided or honed in on a brand of Hoover, or a brand of dildo. Or a dildo.
What car did he drive?
A Dodge Ram 1500.
What? Oh, Dodge, as in so a big old car.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got hit several times by this car. How do you hit somebody several times? Surely after the first time, you either, if you're able to, get out of the way, or I don't get.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't go through. There's no video on here of her repeatedly running over her husband.
Well, that's very convenient, Billy. Very convenient indeed. I think I'm going to go for that one.
Actually, I've got another statistic here. I've just seen another statistic that he had 116 fractures as a result.
That's too many. You've only got like 200 bones in your body. I know, obviously, you can fracture more. You can fracture one bone more than once, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for that one as the fake one then, Billy.
Damn it! I think if I'd have had Denmark's extra long willy, you might have struggled with that one. But yeah, no. I just couldn't believe when you were obviously talking about the Dildo Brothers. That I had a story set up in with a similar theme, Tom. But yeah, no, the naked fugitive was in Darwin. Because you obviously didn't ask me where. I didn't have a place for the running over in the incident, but you didn't ask me anyway.
I assumed it happened in America. I just assumed.
Yeah, but I was just worried that you'd ask me for a place and stuff. But so hence why I didn't tell you that. And the fishermen were named as well, but you didn't ask me about them. Kev Joyner and Cam Froust were the lucky men who stumbled upon this naked man. And there is a video of this, which is hence why I brought it up. That there was no video for the other one. But yeah, well done, Tom. I did have a backup story, which I don't know whether you've heard about this, but I did want to bring it up. I know we're probably pressed for time as well, but have you seen about the FA Cup potentially being decided on the toss of a coin because they have not been able to play the game?
Is this Marine?
No, this is the Women's FA Cup.
Oh, okay.
They're proposing that they decide ties on the flip of a coin or draw lots. In order to, that was going to be my backup one because I couldn't believe that.
I did last week, and it's going out on Monday. An interview with the chairwoman of Wolves Women, and we were talking about the way that not the elite women's game, but so Wolves are in the 4th tier of the women's game, so it's amateur at that level. I think it's only the second tier is semi-professional, and the top tier is the only professional league. And all of those leagues, all of the amateur leagues, were just null and void on the 27th of March. If you think about when we went into lockdown and stuff, was just before that, probably the 15th, 16th, something like that.
20th, I think.
Yeah, certainly schools were closed by the 15th and 16th. Elite sport had already stopped by that point, and then lockdown happened the following week. And then, it's crazy how the women's game is still treated as a real second-class sport in comparison to the men's game.
I know it's you could look across the board in terms of sports of how there is a massive disparity and things like that. But you'd think in a country, especially in Britain, where football is, arguably the sport, it's probably the top sport. It's especially the most lucrative sport in Britain. How they haven't managed to even lift they have lifted the women's game. It's not fair for me to say that, but even to you look at like tennis, where now they have equal prize money, and other sports like that, where there is more of an equal playing field. I don't think, unfortunately, the women's football is at that level yet. But obviously, it's it's been shown on telly and things like that. But it's mad how so little concern has been shown to the women's game. Where you look at they're bending over backwards to keep the men's game going. It is.
I didn't know either, Billy, but I learned something as well during that interview that I did. Was that which, by the way, you can listen to on Show She Kit on Monday. That during the First World War, women played football to entertain people, and they had comparable crowds to what we get today. Thousands, tens of thousands of people. But then the FA decided in 1918, 1919 that people don't want to see this, so they banned women from playing. They banned them from playing until like the 50s and the 60s. Then they were allowed to come back and play again.
Yeah. It's mad. It is mad. Obviously, we started this podcast talking about something ludicrous, and now it's the same sort of thing. How fortunately we've moved on from that now, and it is moving in the right direction. But yeah, it's mad. But yeah, go and listen to Tom's Show As Your Kit.
That's my recommendation.
That's the recommendation. Great podcast.
The guests are getting ever so slightly higher in profile. So I've had BBC.
What do you mean higher in profile? You can't get higher than episode 1.
Oh no, yeah. Well, they went down a bit after episode 1, and then they went back up again. But I've got the editor of Kick magazine, which is, I don't know if have you ever seen Kick magazine? I did. So he's coming on Tuesday in my lunch hour. So I'm going to really try and squeeze that in. So unfortunately, it might be quite a short one. And then we've got a Reading fan that's coming on. Oh, I did him yesterday. Then we got a Derby fan.
I love how there's been a couple of times now, Tom, where your English has slipped up, and I haven't pointed it out just after you slated mine. I'll just put it down to my ability in Welsh. That's what it is my words getting mixed up, whereas you've got no excuse.
Hey, Billy, I've been learning German all this week on Duolingo.
9.
Actually.
Oh, on that note, I actually have got a serious recommendation, Tom. I know we've recommended a few things, but a film, Tom, and I would highly recommend this for you. I think you would really enjoy it. Jojo Rabbit is the film.
I've heard. Oh, that's to do with Hitler, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Is the book called something to do with Hitler stole my rabbit or something like that? There is a book that's entitled that.
I'm quickly Googling it. It's based on a book called Caging Skies. So no, Tom, to answer your question. But it's directed by Taika Waititi, I think it is. He's quite I'm sorry I butchered his name. I know I have. But he's directed quite a few things which are quite off the wall. I think it's your style of comedy. He's done. He directed The Mandalorian.
Tom.
What We Do in the Shadows, and he also did one episode of Flight of the Conchords. I'm literally looking through his filmograph sort of thing. And then he's got a new film coming out next. Well, it says to be announced, called Next Goal Wins. So that's one that we'll probably watch up. Hunt for the Wilder People.
That's about the Euro '96 final.
Yeah. He's a New Zealand. He's a New Zealand.
Okay. That's why he did fight the New Zealand. Yeah, that's why he did fight the Conchords. Then, obviously. Yeah.
So but Jojo Rabbit. It's on. I know it's on Sky at the minute. If you want to go and watch it, and it's about a young boy. It follows this 10-year-old boy who's got a imaginary friend called Adolf Hitler, who is based on a famous person. It's set during the war, and it stars Stephen Merchant, Rebel Wilson, Alfie Allen, and Sam Rockwell. I'm just literally reading this off a poster, but it's very, very good. I'd highly recommend it. I've recommended it to the RE teacher because it shows how the Jews lived, and it's about all that sort of stuff as well. So it's a more modern take on Anne Frank.
Lovely. I wasn't yawning at you talking. Then I was just. I am. Yeah,
he's tired. Okay. So Tom's now got a headache, so he's going to sign off. But thank you everyone for listening, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff to try and find us when we're on live stream. I'll do it all, Tom, because I know you're literally going to headbutt a wall.
Billy, wow. How dare you? Right, well, goodbye then, everybody. Enjoy yourselves.
Bye.